Now let's just paint a very common picture. You've designed a beautiful pixel perfect website, optimized all of your image files, uploaded them, and the site is flying along. Then you hand the keys over to the client and they start uploading their own content. And we know lots of clients, when they upload content, don't even look at the size of the images they're uploading. So we need to make sure that we can have those optimized before the client comes back to us really annoyed that their site is incredibly slow loading on a mobile or any other device and they're losing customers. This is where a tool like Optimole, who have kindly sponsored this video today, and as always in all my sponsored videos, I'm not going to give you any opinion, I'm simply going to demonstrate how this works and you can make a more informed decision for yourself. So we're going to use Optimole and connect that to a test site, and we're going to see how the whole optimization side of things is handled and how you can use a tool like this to be able to get peace of mind from your clients knowing that their images, when they're uploaded, will be optimized behind the scenes for them, and their website should carry on being nippy, fast, and ultimately, hopefully, pixel perfect. Getting up and running couldn't be easier. All you need to do is add the plugin, search for Optimole, install and activate it. And once installed, the setup process is incredibly painless. All you need to do is pop in your email address, connect and create your account, confirm your account, and everything will be connected up for you behind the scenes. Couldn't be simpler. Once installed, you'll have a dashboard similar to what you can see on screen right now. Now, obviously, you're not going to have any last optimized images listed here because it will be a fresh copy installed. Now, what Optimole is going to do is going to work in two different ways. The first, any images you already have uploaded, it will take a look at your media library and it will optimize those images for you. There's a little bit more that goes on as well, and we'll cover some of those things as we go through the video. The second, when images are uploaded, it will optimize those as part of the whole upload process and add them to your media library. It's very simple and basically hands-off for pretty much the most part of it. So let's take a quick look at how this actually works. We effectively have a two-way connection between the Optimole servers and our website. So let's take a look at the Optimole dashboard. This isn't on our site, this is on the Optimole site itself. So any site you have connected, all the files and everything else, all your settings will all be listed inside the dashboard on the Optimole server. Then inside any of the websites that has Optimole connected, you'll only see the images that are connected up to that account unless we use cloud storage for another purpose. And we will again take a look at that in a moment. So you can see this is very similar to what you saw inside the normal dashboard in WordPress. If we jump into the library section, this will show us all the images we have, no matter how many sites we have connected. You can see this will show all images, or we can break things down into folders. So if we have multiple sites connected, they will be listed inside folders, and you can create your own folders should you want to. So you can see inside here, we've got our dentist website, which is what we're going to be looking at in this video, and there's all of our images. Now let's take a look at opening one of these up and seeing some of the options available. If we select it, you can see we get a preview. We also get these options to resize the image inside Optimole, apply filters, add adjustments, and even apply a custom watermark. So if you want to make sure that your images are watermarked, you can do that here. Simply upload and create a watermark, and then you can select that from the list, add that to your image, and then you can customize how that's going to be displayed. So you can see at the moment it's in the bottom right hand corner. It's also pretty large, so we can adjust the size of that, make it smaller. You can tweak the opacity to make it more transparent or less transparent. You can also adjust the position of this, so you may want to pop this dead center. So great if you have a website that you want to protect your images. This can all be done directly inside the Optimole account, and none of this is destructive. So you can easily remove this and your image is totally perfect. But on the website, this watermark will be there and evident, and anybody that tries to download the image will have that watermark embedded in it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've seen how you can set up a few things inside there. You'll also notice when we hover over, we can get the link for this image. We can also click these three dots, and we can edit this, we can move it, or we can delete it. We can also multi-select images. So go to the top left corner, we can click in this white box, we can multi-select these images, and then we can do things like move them, create folders that add them inside there, and so on. So media management is pretty painless inside Optimole. Now inside the Optimole dashboard, we also have some more information. We can take a look at things like metrics, and this will show us information about the images, how they're being sent over. You can see we can split this down based upon the domains. So we have multiple domains associated with our Optimole account. We can split them down and see which are using the most, which are the least resource hungry, and so on. You can also set up how long the period is between 30 days, current billing, and last month. And underneath, you can see we also get some information about the number of connected websites, the number of images, the amount of traffic that's being used. And as you start to use the Optimole services, all these will obviously start to update and you'll start to get more data inside you. If we hop into the allowed domain section, we can add additional domains. And this allows us to share images inside our Optimole library with additional domains. So we've seen the watermark already, but all you need to do is add your watermark and you can upload as many of these as you want. So if you've got multiple clients, you can set things up inside here. You can also create custom rules for where and when these will be added. So you can say add a new rule. We can select the image type. So for example, we may say that the extension is a JPEG, and then we can say next. We can choose our watermark. We can specify where we want this. We can adjust any of the parameters like we've already seen. Hit save, and now any images uploaded with a JPEG file extension will automatically have that watermark added into that relevant location with all the settings we've just set up inside there. Now let's just jump back into our website itself a moment. Let's take a look at some of the other things we've got going on here and how we can configure how our images are going to be handled inside Optimole on our website. So let's jump into the settings section first of all. In here, you can see we've got some basic options. We can do things like clear the cache, so we can make sure we've always got the fresh copy of the image. You can see we've got some options then for enable Optimole image handling. So this will manage, optimize, and serve the images from the actual Optimole servers. And what this basically means is we're taking advantage of the CDN network or content delivery network for our images. So we don't have to have them stored locally. We can have them sent over from a CDN from multiple locations all around the world, so we can make sure that the images are not only optimized but also delivered as close to the end user as possible, giving a much better user experience. You can also set up things like scaling and lazy loading. Now, be careful with lazy loading, because if you have a theme or a plugin that automatically handles lazy loading, make sure you only enable it in one location, whether that's inside Optimole or the plugin or theme. Otherwise, you may start to see a little bit of strange, funky kind of things going on. This isn't specific to Optimole or any other tool. It's just you're setting up lazy loading in multiple locations, and that could cause a bit of an issue. If you don't mind, you can also enable the Optimole badge. But what this does is this will put a little badge onto your web page of your website, but it'll give you an additional 20,000 visits every single month. Let me quickly show you what it looks like. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner, we've got optimized by Optimole because we've got this enabled. And you can see it's not the most intrusive. And like I say, if you don't mind having that on there and you want to get more visitors, it's a great way of getting an extra 20,000 every single month. If you don't want it, simply turn it off. No problem at all. Now, if we jump into advanced, this is where we can control a few other things. So first of all, compression. This is where you're probably going to set and forget, because once you've set things up, there's no real reason to come back here and change anything anyway. But we've got automatic best image format selection. Now, generally, most modern browsers will support things like WebP, and more are supporting AVIF, which are much more optimized image formats. So you can select this option and it will optimize. So if you're not uploading as WebP or AVIF images, this will allow you to have those optimized and delivered to the end user to give even better compression on your images with great quality. Next up, you've got the network-based optimizations. And this is a pretty cool little feature. If you are using a mobile phone or you've got someone that's using a laptop and they don't have necessarily the best net connection, they have pretty low bandwidth, what this will do is this will optimize the images, reduce the quality of them to deliver the website and the content quickly, but the image quality will be a little bit degraded. But like I say, this is great if you've got people that want to access your content and the images are causing things just to be too slow and making it, unwieldy for the end user. You can also serve your CSS and JavaScript through Optimole. So if you want to enable this, this will also cache and optimize and deliver from the CDN network. If you've got videos on your website, you can see we can set this to convert from GIF to video conversion. So again, if you don't use this, you can leave this disabled. And if you want to apply AVIF or AVIF image support, you can enable this here as well. It's a more modern format with higher compression, but isn't supported by every single browser. So it's up to you if you want to use that. You can then strip image metadata. So if you're a photographer and the metadata is important to you, then you already want to uncheck this because it's checked by default. But if you are just uploading images and you don't care about the metadata, well, you can have this. It'll strip that out, make the images just a little bit smaller and optimize your website a little bit further. The final option here is to use machine learning. So if you don't mind, if you want to let machine learning handle the compression side of things and you don't have to manually set things, you can use that here. And I would probably recommend using that for most use cases, unless you really want to get in and fine tune and tweak everything. But if you disable this, you'll see you can then customize between low, medium, and high. However, like I say, I think leaving this on is probably going to give you better results in the long run. Hit save changes if you made any, job done. Resize is probably pretty self-explanatory if you want to handle things like the cropping, retina quality. So if you deliver into a Mac which uses retina or 2x display resolution, you can set up and configure things inside here. You can also limit the image sizes. If someone's uploading an image that's bigger, then you can have that. It'll automatically be resized to that maximum dimension. Anything smaller, it's not going to be made bigger in this example. So this is quite useful. Again, 1920 by 1080 is probably the optimal size for this because it's kind of your normal standard HD and what a lot of websites will use as their sort of maximum resolution. Anything above that becomes a little bit massive and unwieldy for probably not a lot of users that will be using something larger than that. You can also set up the new image crop size. So if you're uploading new images and you want to have them cropped, you can set those parameters inside here as well. If you don't want to, well, you can avoid those things. Lazy load, I've already said, you can set up some lazy loaded parameters. So if you are using Optimole to handle the lazy loading, you can configure this yourself if you want to. This also handles things like your CSS background, lazy load, and so on. Then exclusions, if you want to, you can specify specific files that you don't want to optimize. So for example, don't optimize image if the file name, the image extension, and so on, and then you can put things in there. And the same thing goes for the lazy load images. If there's specific images you don't want to be lazy loaded, again, you can use the same kind of methodology to do that inside here as well. Now, the cloud library is where things get a little bit interesting. This you can see is our cloud library, which is connected up for us. And if we jump over into our Optimole library, you can see inside our folders, there's the same folder name, which is the folder for this particular site. Now, generally, this will be the proper domain. I'm on a testing server, so you're probably going to see this really long combination of names and so on. And that's exactly what you can see inside here. Now, this is pretty useful because inside your Optimole account in the cloud server, you could easily have, let's say, a catch-all folder that has multiple different images inside there that you use on every single website. Then you could share that inside here and they become available to be able to use on any of the sites you connect up using this kind of functionality. And finally, we have the image storage. Now, there are two options inside here, Optimole Cloud and your website. So they'll have a copy on your normal media library on your server, and a copy will be uploaded and saved inside your Optimole account. The other option is Optimole Cloud only. And what this will do is this will take the images off your server, freeing up space, and upload those to the cloud server as part of Optimole, and then deliver them from that CDN only. Won't have any copies on your local site. So if you've got a site that's got lots and lots of images and you're finding that your storage is running out on your normal hosting account, this is a great way of taking all of those resources off your actual hosting account, move them all to your Optimole Cloud account. Again, like I say, it's up to you how you'd want to set this up. I'm going to leave this in this example to have copies on the cloud account and on my own website. Okay, so now that we've seen all the settings and how all these bits and pieces actually work, what does it mean on the site itself? Well, because we've got copies in the cloud and they're being delivered from a CDN, our images are not actually coming from our local hosting. For example, if we inspect this image, you'll see that this is actually coming from the Optimole servers. So this is being delivered via the CDN as close to me as is possible to give me the fastest loading page with the images that we can get using that CDN network. It's very easy. Once you upload an image again, you may find there's a very short period where it will be delivered from your local website, but that's only while it's being optimized on the Optimole servers, and then it'll be pushed over and delivered directly from the CDN that's part of your Optimole account. Like I said, speeds everything up then. And this holds true for all of our images. So if we right click and we say inspect on this image, you'll see again, this is coming from the Optimole CDN servers. So we get an optimized experience for the end user, no matter where they are in the world. So there's one other thing I want to draw your attention to. If we've got images up on our cloud account and we want to access those, you'll see we've got under Optimole, we can come into our cloud library. So now all our images are available to us. You can see even including the ones we have watermarks applied to. We've got the same option, so we can edit, we can delete this, we can select the image. All those filters and adjustments and so on are directly inside here, and then we can delete the image from here, or we can go and copy the URL and actually add that into our design. It is that easy to start working with Optimole. But hopefully what this video has demonstrated is it's not complicated to get up and running. You can test it out with the free account yourself. If you want to find out the pricing at the time of actually releasing this video, the link will be in the description down below. As always, my name's Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.